On her podcast, Sophie Cunningham recently revealed some delicious details that no one had anticipated. The guard for the Indiana Fever, who played with Dana Bonner in both Phoenix and Indiana, finally spoke up about the reason behind Bonner's midseason departure from Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever. You'll be astounded by what she stated about Bonner's unprofessional departure. I promise. When Cunningham publicly criticized Bonner's actions and revealed how she handled her leave, she didn't mince words. Everything we believe to be true is altered by the information she revealed about what actually transpired behind the scenes. Regarding this play, if you agree with Sophie about Bonner's disgusting departure, please let her know in the comments section below. Come on. I like Deep because when we got together here in Indiana, Debbie was one of my veterans from Phoenix. It was somewhat unexpected that she was signed to Indiana nevertheless, so we'll take her in a heartbeat, like she's a Hall of Famer. She plays basketball really well, able to score from any position on the court. Everyone believed they were seeing the ideal player when Dana Bonner joined the Indiana Fever. Contribution to the group. This veteran pickup wasn't your typical one. Bonner arrived with the kind of expertise that winning teams are known for, along with impressive credentials. Everyone was taken aback by the signing, but in the best way conceivable. For the first time, Fever supporters had cause to hope that their young star would receive the seasoned leadership she much needed. Dana, I have no doubt that several teams were vying for your services. Why did you think this was the ideal opportunity? It seemed to me that it was the where to find one. I've spent a lot of time away from my kids, who live literally up the road. In light of that, the core that they currently have is merely trying to fit in, contribute to the jigsaw, and ideally boost the energy dynamic and help us advance in the playoffs. We believed that the press conferences provided the complete narrative. Bonner was ebullient as he stood at the platform, expressing his desire to play alongside Clark and help the team win. She presented herself as the missing component, prepared to guide the rising sophomore star and offer vital, punching score. Bonner was even hailed by Sophie Cunningham, who knew her from Phoenix, as a Hall of Famer and an incredible basketball player who could score from wherever on the court. Everything appeared flawless on paper. According to Caitlin Clark, Bonner had the loudest voice in the locker room, so she bought into the hype. During those initial team meetings, Clark's joy was evident in his eyes. The Fever group was ecstatic. The fans were excited. This version for veterans was intended to improve every aspect of their hopes of winning a title. DB is a legend who is inducted into the Hall of Fame. In addition to being an excellent basketball player, he is also a wonderful guy and leader. She has the loudest voice in our locker room, Then the game began. Those laudatory news appearances were a far cry from Bonner's real performance. She only managed 7 games out of 9. Shooting numbers of 1 point per game left everyone wondering if they were all watching at the same time. Player they had acquired. Her 3, 8 rebounds and 1. For someone with her reputation, 6 assists a game wasn't just mediocre, it was terrible. However, the data only provided a portion of the picture. The most striking thing was how uninterested Bonner appeared on the court. Her movements were as if she didn't want to be there. Supporters began to scratch their heads. Co-workers started looking at each other. The coaching staff discovered themselves in a precarious situation. Don't let the door strike you, Uner, where you were divided by the Holy Lord. When Coach Stephanie White made the difficult decision to bench Bonner for a second time just weeks into the season, the awkwardness in the locker room became unavoidable. Fans who had bought into the hype felt betrayed and confused, and players who expected leadership received silence instead. What's a C? I don't want to be the I don't want to come off the bench is not enough is not a personal issue. I don't like my role. This benching ought to have served as a warning. Call an opportunity for Bonner to assert herself and show her value. Rather, it signaled the start of something far more serious than subpar defense or shooting percentages. The lady who had vowed to be Clark's season guide was ready to make shocking revelations about who she really was to those who trusted her public image. Compared to last year, her minutes had drastically decreased. Therefore, if her minutes decrease, many of her production numbers that she and the rest of the league can see will also decrease. She looks exactly like Natasha Howard. She appears elderly on the court, I guess. Okay, this isn't ageism. I'm not trying to be and I'm not. She appears to be an elderly sportswoman. Okay, the team has been lacking in energy, and she appears slower on the court. It has been a significant issue. It's long overdue, really. Allow her to go to the location where she believes she would thrive. Being benched was humiliating enough, but Dana Bonner's subsequent actions transformed him from a lackluster player into an enigma. She was hardly playing one day while sitting on the bench, and she simply vanished the following day. No farewell, no explanation. The Indiana Fever began citing personal reasons for her absences, which is essentially sports jargon for, "We don't know what's going on either. He came here." She committed to a maximum contract. She was aware that Phoenix was without bread. After obtaining 80 here, she proceeded to obtain the remaining amount elsewhere. It's crap, in my opinion. Man, there is nothing I would do differently. You stole $80,000 from the Indiana Fever. Simply signing would have sufficed. That's one of those things that makes me wonder why you do these interviews. I don't understand why someone would say that during an interview when, in fact, all you did was steal a lot of money from a team in order to skip work. You don't show up. Bonner's disappearance act timeline seems like a poorly written soap drama. Fans scanned the bench, wondering where she was, as games came and went. No one believed the team's evasive updates regarding personal reasons, which they continued to provide. When reporters inquired about Bonner's condition during press conferences, you could see the bewilderment on Coach Stephanie White's face. Not even she seemed to know the answers. You accept payment yet refuse to report to work while you are getting paid. You declined to come and do the task. You weren't even good while you were here, let's face it. On the side of the backboard, you were making three-pointers. However, the new wave is sweeping over, therefore this will undoubtedly become part of her history. Dude, these new admirers are observing. On Sophie Cunningham, her first team second coming in from Barclay Phoenix number 14, the Indianapolis crowd let her have it. The alcohol began during warm-ups and continued continuously, and every time she touched the ball, the arena erupted in hostile jeers that made it very evident how fans felt about her betrayal. The highlight of the entire scene was watching Caitlin Clark from the bench, who was having a great time watching Bonner get roasted despite being sidelined with a groin injury. As the team, she remained loyal to lock down the player who deserted them. You could see the sheer joy on Clark's face as she jumped up and celebrated every defensive stop against her former teammate. Clark's excitement from the sidelines was a testament to how the locker room felt about Bonner's departure. Bonner battled with Hall, turning, fading, firing, and leaving it way short. Hull played great defense there. Copper tracked it down and bounced for Bonner, who had her shot blocks, and it was a shot clock violation. Indiana has a 5-point lead in third place after Connor was walled off by Hull and then blocked at the rim. Then, Alyssa Thomas, Bonner's fiancée, decided to make things worse by taunting the fans, telling them that Bonner had joined a real team, which was essentially the most disrespectful thing she could say. Keep in mind that this is the same Alyssa Thomas who once claimed that racism from Fever fans made her feel unsafe in Indianapolis. And now she was provoking those same fans while her girlfriend was destroyed on the scoreboard. Bonner was jeered upon her return, which is to be. The difference between Thomas's behavior and the Fever's class was striking, and the players that have replaced Bonner for the Beaver are far superior to her. Overall, Fever fans must feel pretty damn good about that victory. Arie McDonald has been a revelation, and she was great in this one again. Chloe BBY looks like a perfect fit. Following the game, Aaliyah Boston and coach Stephanie White answered questions regarding. Their responses demonstrated why the Fever culture is based on character and respect. What was it like to have Dana Bonner return to Indiana? What were your thoughts on the fan reception tonight? To be honest, that has nothing to do with me. I believe DB returned because we were playing Phoenix. So, it just so happened that the fans did what they wanted to do. They handled the situation with total professionalism. The real satisfaction, however, came from Bonner's pitiful performance. 4 points on one of 4 shots in 21 minutes. The same player who couldn't handle being benched in Indiana was being shut down by her former teammates. The Fever dominated 107-101. Demonstrating that team chemistry always triumphs over individual ego. For us, it's about paying attention to what we have to do here, which was coming in and getting a big win, which we were able to do. Dana Bonner's betrayal proved to be the best thing that could have happened to the Indiana Fever, as the team found they were stronger without someone who didn't want to be there. New players like Ari McDonald and Chloe BBY blended in seamlessly with a system built on commitment and respect. This was perfect justice, as Bonner was exposed while her former teammates flourished without her drama and negativity. The players who remained committed to the vision were celebrating victories, while the quitter was being jeered in the building she abandoned. If you agree with Sophie about Bonner's disgusting departure, please leave a comment below. Like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you never miss it. Click the video on the screen and we'll see you in the next one. The Fever are poised to make major waves in 2025, with Clark's return expected and the roster chemistry at an all-time high.